took me, of course, a bit of time because there were so many things to be done and so many, arrangements to be done. Anyways, I think for this session, for this year two, this is going to be the last class of ours. And in this last class of ours, so most probably, I think I would be able to cover this chapter. And this chapter we had already gone up to just now reaching the second section of it. Because before that we had discussed Derry just was willing to get back to him to help Mr. Lamb to help out in his work. And for that, he just wanted a kind of permission from home. So, but even on that, Derry had some different opinion. And this also we had studied why this nature of his has been developed like that. So it is over the period of time that Derry had not been dealt with very nicely by people, and so he had developed a kind of grudge against everyone. About people he did not have any good opinion, and that is why he was little upset about everything. Okay, so now moving on to the next point. Now I'm switching over to the text, the page number, then I'll open, then accordingly you can just go through it. So here we had already done this. Maybe page number 64 do I need here? Hmm? Maybe page number 64.
66, sir.
66. Is it
Yes,
that
sir.
one? Yeah, check it. I think here it was, and you don't know what I could do only if I choose. I think this was something last which I had read. So, so from here,
Yes, sir.
it's automatically it comes. So, Mr. Lamb says, if you chose, I don't know everything, boy. I can't tell you what to do. Then comes the next page. Then he says, they tell me, do you have to agree? I don't know what I want. I want something no one else has got or ever will have. Something just mine, like this garden. I don't know what it is. You could find out. Then there is how, like then Lamb says, waiting, watching, listening, sitting here or going there. I will have to see to the bees. I will have to see to the bees. I will have my duty towards bees. I will have to look after the bees. Those are the people who come here. They don't talk to you, ask you things. Then Mr. Lamb says, there is opinion now. He says, though when those people come, for example, you had been saying many people come and they just roam around here, they pluck apples and then they go, they even sometimes tease you and all. So Delhi has this inquisitiveness to find out from it. Those are the people who come here. Do they talk to you and ask you things? Then Mr. Lamb says, do, some don't. I ask them. I like to learn. Now here, let us try to understand his approach. See, he says there are some people who just come and ask. Some people even don't ask. But I ask them because I like to learn. This I can say it is a very positive kind of approach, which for common man like you and me probably would take a lot of time, because we all give our responses to the situation. We react to certain situations. Suppose we do not like a particular situation, then we express our grudge, we express our anger, we express our frustration about such things. But this man, Salam, though he suffers from a bit of handicapness, infirmity is another word that you have to remember. Infirmity. So though he suffers from this infirmity, but he does not take his life as a tragedy. And he says, those people who come here, sometimes they ask me, it's okay. If they do not ask me, that's also okay. If they do not ask me, at least I ask them. I think it's very rare kind of thing. Just a very eminent saints and seers, sadhu sat jo ho gaye hai, only those people could have this kind of approach. And of course, even today also there are people, if we do see them, so we can definitely find them. They are there. These people, this kind of people are also there. So I like to learn. I don't believe in them. Then I don't think anybody ever comes. Derry says, because David had already made his point clear. About people, he has a kind of doubt only. He believes that the people only come to trouble you, they only ask you or talk to you because they find there is something wrong with you, and because there is a wrong intention of theirs. That is why they talk to you. This is Dairy's opinion overall about people. Lamb's opinion is not like that. Lamb actually takes people as they are, and the way things are being handled, he just manages those things. But Derry says, I don't believe in them. I don't believe them, and I don't believe in them. मुझे उनमें विश्वास नहीं है. I don't think anybody ever comes. मुझे लगता ही नहीं कि कभी कोई आता है करके. Or who are here all by yourself, and sorry, you are here all by yourself. All by yourself, because there is nobody else with you. You are all alone. Secluded, and your seclusion you are. So you are here all by yourself and miserable, and no one would know if you were alive and dead, and nobody cares. Very maybe like the title on the face of it, like just like that, he is very outspoken to express his feelings, and he says, "Yeah, I don't believe that the people also come over here, and if at all do they come, I don't believe that they come with any good intention." And what I feel is generally you are all by yourself, generally you are all alone there and miserable. There is a lot of misery there in your life, and no one would know if you were alive or not. किसी को कुछ नहीं करना है, and nobody is bothered about anything, whether you are alive or dead. Nobody actually bothers. Nobody actually cares. That is what it says spoken being. Then Mr. Lamb says, "You think what you please." This is one statement or this one sentence that you can always remember. You think what you please. आप जो सोचना है वो सोचो, जैसा अपन बोलते हैं ना हिंदी में, उसके लिए ये सेंटेंस काम है. You think what you please. You talk what you please. You see what pleases you. So just like that, you think what you please. जो तुम्हें अच्छा लगता है वो तुम सोचो. जो whatever is convenient for you, whatever you think is right, you have all rights that you can do so. All right, then there he says, tell me some of their names together. If you feel people come and go over here, so just tell me their names. What are names? Tom, Dick, or Harry getting up. I'm off down to the bees. मैं जा रहा हूँ bees की तरफ. My bees wanted to me there. That earlier he said, no, I will have to see to bees, he had said earlier. And then he feels ultimately, now Derry is talking something about which, or he does not want to even answer that part. And so he says, Derry's question was, if you feel that people had been coming and you had been even talking to them, naturally you might know some of their names. So batao unke naam kya hai? What their names? What I am bothered about, whether their name is Tom, Dick, or Harry. It doesn't matter to me, whoever is it. But like even I did not want to know your name. Only we had a long talk. After that, I just was curious about knowing it. I think you are daft, crazy. There is a थोड़े से अलग ही हो, थोड़े पागल से सनके हो गए हो. Mr. Lamb's just, that's a good excuse. Good way to get rid of the things, because you feel that my ways are different, because you think that I am a bit different, because you think that whatever I am having the attitude towards things and people is not your attitude to those things and people. So you feel that things are like entirely different, but it is not so. So that's a good excuse. What for? You don't talk sense. You don't talk sense. Generally we say simply nonsense. For that, this is a very good expression. You don't talk sense. I think you can just underline it and just put equal mark and write over there nonsense. So for another substitute expression you get, I cannot say word, so it is an expression. You don't talk sense. मतलब तुम जो बात करते हो उसमें कुछ sense नहीं है. That is nonsense. ठीक है? Mr. Lamb, good excuse not to come back, and you have got a burnt up face, and that's other people's excuse. So Mr. Lamb was there. Like this is an excuse. You have another excuse. You have got a burnt face. So you did not come over here. You did not even come out of your house. So that is another excuse. Just like that. So you're like the others. You're like the others. You like to say things like that. If you don't feel sorry for my face, you are frightened of it. And if you are not frightened, you think I am ugly or a devil. I am a devil, don't you? Then he shouts. There is one way of interpreting things. He says you are now going because you don't have any argument left for this thing about people, people's name. You say people come and I talk to them, all such things. So he therefore says the same thing. Maybe because you feel they are friendly, but in fact they may not be. This there is a feeling, and that's why Davy says. Now you also have the same thing. You also talked about my face because everybody else talks about it. Ultimately, you do not like it. Ultimately, you are frightened about it. That means you have a lot of distrust about it. So you think, and therefore you think that I am ugly, and therefore I am a devil, just like a devil fellow. I am. Don't you think so? Mr. Lamb says. Lamb does not reply. He has gone to his bees. Then they quietly. I think then if he says all this quietly, so maybe all those words are meant only for himself. There is no, you don't. I like it here. Then he pauses. Then he gets up and shouts. And I'm going. He gives the reply to Mr. Lambis. I'm going, but I'll come back. You see, you wait. I can run. I haven't got a tin leg. I'll be back. He's actually making fun. And enjoying fun with Mr. Lamb because he feels that he has become a bit friendly with him. And so, as Mr. Lamb could talk about his burnt face, so can he talk about his thin leg? And he says, "Okay, I'm going, but I'll be back because I can run. I don't have a thin leg, so I'll be back soon." Derry says, Derry runs off, silence the sound of the garden again. So here this part ends, and the promise was made that he would come, and he probably tries to come. And this part, let us see over the picture already. Actually, you must have seen this picture. Just check it out. Okay. This picture, wherein this appears supposed to be Dairy, and the man fallen appears to be Mr. Lamb. Let us see now here. So here. So Mr. Lamb to himself, ability. There are my dears. Dears actually refers to the bees because he had gone to the bees. That's you seen too. That has you seen too. We all know I'll come back. They never do, though not them. Never do come back. The garden noises fade. Never to come back. Actually, it refers to the people. The people promised that they would keep coming, they would be visiting me, but in fact, it does not happen. In reality, it's not possible that they would always get back. These were the words of Lamb, and those words were meant for himself. This means they were thoughts of Mr. Lamb. He thought that as he has been all alone, so all alone he would have to manage everything. Now comes the scene two, second scene. So the first scene that what we can sum up is the first scene describes the entry of both the characters, Dairy and Mr. Lamb, approach of Dairy towards life, the young boy, how he treats life to be as a tragedy because he had got acid burnt face, and all his life he had to suffer a lot because of people's looks, the people's criticism, the way people would look at him. He had to bear all that. So he practically noticed all that, and to the extent that even his mama does not kiss him on his burnt face, the other side, which is all right, there the mother kisses. So he feels even the mother's love has a distinct, or you can say, discriminative approach towards dairy. But Mr. Lamb is Lamb's complete approach when you see about life. It is very positive. It is very welcoming kind of approach. And he also suffers from one infirmity. Infirmity is some kind of handicapness. But he is a, you can say, reasoned fellow, thoughtful fellow. And he takes life as as it comes in a happy manner. So now moving on to the next part, that's the next scene, Dairy's house. So he might be going over there. So mother says, "You think I don't know about him? You think I haven't heard things?" Matlab, Dairy must have told about this man, Mr. Lamb, to his mother. Then Mama says, only you know, only you discovered, and nobody else knew." And this also means that eh, you want to go over there, but I did not let you go there so far because I already knew about that place, a lonely man over there. So maybe the mother says like this. You think I don't know about him? You think I haven't heard things? You haven't. No, you shouldn't believe all you hear, Derry. So Derry says, "Ki Mama, it's not always like that. People must have told you about Mr. Lamb. He's a suspicious character, mysterious character, and he may do harm to other people because it's a lonely place. Nobody stays with him. There might be another story. So, Mama, you don't have to believe everything. You shouldn't believe all you hear." Then, mother, being told, warned, we have not lived here 3 months, but I know what there is to know, and you are not to go back there. So Mama gives a threatening to him, a warning to him. See, Devi, now you don't have to go back to that place. And you are not supposed to, interact with that fellow. It is not something correct. So what are you afraid of? Devi says, what do you think he is? An old man with a tin leg, and he lives in a huge house without curtains and has a garden. So, for Davy, this is the interpretation about Mr. Lamb. He is an old man, a handicapped fellow, a tin leg that is an artificial leg, and he lives in a huge house. बड़ा सा घर है उसका वाला, but he has curtains. He has no curtains there, and there is a big garden. And I want to be there. और मुझे कहाँ रहना है? मुझे उधर जाना है. And sit and listen to things. I listen and look. So I think this is the lesson which Mr. Lamb had given to Terry. Told him what you can see. You can see, you can listen, you can hear. You can see the beautiful garden over there. People call the tall grass as weed, but I call it a weed garden. That is his way of interpretation. And they call this bees. They just make sound, but I feel that they just do not buzz, they hum, that is sing, that is approach towards everything. So maybe this lesson he must have learned, and therefore he says, I want to be there and sit and listen to things, listen and look. Mother says, listen to what? Bees singing, him talking, usse baat karna, and what has he got to say to you, or तुम्हें क्या बोलने वाला है बोले? Things that matter. There is वो बातें जो important है. Now I think from here you can understand कि Derry must have learned something from slang. He must have learned a big lesson that whatever do you hear from people that may not necessarily be about you. They generally do not want to, dislike you, or they generally do not want to keep you away from them. But it is possible that the things might be different. So that is what he says. And be singing, him talking, and what he got to say to you. Things that matter, things nobody else has ever said, things I want to think about. I think this line you can underline. I think that from here you can get on to all important things. Here he says all those things, all those things matter for me. He gives me the confidence. He tells me that people are friendly with you. He tells me people are not bad. He also tells me there are many things other than people. He also tells me that there is a lot to explore about nature. He also tells me you can find colors in things. You can find joy, love, and happiness in things all around you. So things nobody else has ever said. किसी ने भी नहीं बोला वो चीजें सुनने के लिए मुझे जाना है. Things I want to think about, जिसके बारे में मैंने कभी सोचा नहीं था, वो सारी चीजें I want to think about, like the bees you can say, है ना? They hum instead of they buzz. And then you stay here, and mama will say, then you stay here and do your thinking. You are best off here. मतलब mama बोलता है तेरे को सोचना ही है ना, so why need you go and think over there? You sit here और इधर ही बैठ के सोचने का, ठीक है? Next is the next page itself. Then I hate here. You can't help the things to say, you say. I forgive you. Mama says. ये तो बोलता है कि I hate it here. मतलब मैं बहुत पक गया हूँ. Generally we say like that. So for that this expression, I hate it here. यहाँ पे नहीं रहने का. Mama says, you can't help the things you say. I forgive you. It has bound to make you feel bad things and say them. I don't blame you. Terry. It's okay, nothing to do with my face and what I look like. I don't care about that. And it isn't important. It's what I think and feel and what I want to see and find out and hear. And I'm going back there only to help him with the crab apples, only to look at the things and listen. This line again important, I believe. Why he wants to go there? Only to help him with the crab apples and only to look at the things and listen. That this gives a good, understanding to us by visiting the places and people, by only looking at them, by only, listening just for the sake of listening. So many things can be learned. I therefore detest those people who just put Walkman or a headphone and they go for a walk. That is such a beautiful weather and environment is there in Rawalpata. And the chirping of the birds, the different colors of the birds, the leaves fallen or the dropping leaves, the color changed of the leaves, and all such things, the green grass and everything. It is all to be viewed. It is all to be enjoyed. Your eyes have given you this bliss. So enjoy all that comes your way. But people do it something different for the sake of show. But here the thing can be learned is you only to look at the things and listen. But I'm going, and he tells his mama, matlab just like any other child might say, कि mama बोलती है बेटा बाहर नहीं जाना, उधर नहीं जाना, and Daddy says he would like to go only there. Mother, you will stop here. तुम इधर ही रुके रहोगे. That Daddy says, oh no, because if I don't go back there, I will never go anywhere in this world again. Because their opinion is clear now. If I don't go there now, इसका मतलब मैं इसके बाद I will not go. बच्चे they become a little stubborn about a point. If they say, yeah, I want only this phone. If not this phone, I don't want any phone. Just like that. This guy says, if I don't go out again, don't go now out of home. So after this, I am not going to out again in the world. The door slams. There he runs, panting, मतलब gasping, मतलब the breath goes, faster inside and exhaled faster. And I want the world. I want it. I want it. I want the world. This line also you try to understand. उसको दुनिया में जीना है. Because Mr. Lamb had told him, it's easy to get yourself locked up somewhere. You can easily do so, and you just don't have to bother about anything. And that is so simple and so easy. So anytime can you do that. And therefore this man says, I want to see the world. I want to go out. The sound of his panting fades. मतलब थकान दौड़ते दौड़ते जब वो he must be walking normal, then his panting fades. Now scene 3. Miss Lamb's garden sounds. The noise of a branch shifting, apples thumping down, जोर से थप्प से गिरना, वो sound, and the branch shifting again. मतलब as a branch is there, or because it shifts, so that sound which is made of that big branch, that shifting, and the apples then immediately dropping down. That sound is heard there in the garden when dairy reaches the garden. Mr. Steady, yes, that's got it. That's it. More apples fall, and again, that's it, and like that. A creak, a crash, the ladder falls again. Before these lines are these lines where lamb must be plucking the apples, from the branches. He must be moving those branches with something or with hands, and because of the movement, the apples must be falling down. And then again same thing, and then again same thing. But suddenly there is a creak, the cracking sound, creaking sound comes there, a crashing sound. The ladder falls back. Ladder गिर जाती है. Mr. Lamb with the ladder also falls down. A thump, धप से जो गिरने का आवाज, that is thumping sound. The branch switches back. इधर से जो maybe by the support of the branch, the ladder must be there. And after some time, it must have pushed, and this ladder, the branch must have shifted, the ladder must have fallen down, and with that, Mr. Lamb himself, a thumb. The branch switches back, creaks, then silence. Dairy opens the garden gate and still panting. A big dairy has entered, all that he might have noticed from maybe from distance. Then Dairy says, you see, I came back. You said I wouldn't. And they said, but I came back, I wanted. So here, Dairy must be going closer to Mr. Lamb probably. And then he speaks out this word and says, "देखो तुमने बोला था ना कि मैं वापस नहीं आऊंगा करके, लेकिन मैंने बोल के रखा था कि I will come back. I came back." उन लोग भी कह रहे थे कि it is not possible. That is, my mother also said it is not possible that I would not be back there again. But you see, I am back. You said I wouldn't, and they said, but I came back. I wanted because मैं चाहता था कि वापस आऊं. He stops. He stops. Dead. Silence. Mr. Lamb, Mr. You have. Then he turns through the grass, then stops, उधर रुक जाता है and he kneels down, मतलब घुटनों के बल गिरता है. And so, Mr. Lamb, it's all right. You fell. I'm here. कोई बात नहीं, तुम गिर गए तो I'm there. मैं हूँ ना. Then Mr. Lamb, it's all right. But there is silence over here. And with that, I came back playing lammy lamb. मैं आ गया लंगड़े lamb, है ना? I came back, lammy lamb. I did come back. Dairy begins to weep, and here the end comes of the story. I believe you must have understood the end of this play, wherein there is total change in Dairy's approach towards life, wherein he felt his world must have been earlier locked up. That world got open, or he got exposure to the world outside because he interacted once with Mr. Lamb. Now, Mr. Lamb has gone from there because Mr. Lamb was there plucking the apples and from one of the branches, and his ladder must be against one of the branches of the tree. This must have got shifted, and he fell down from the ladder. The ladder fell down, he fell down, and it must have injured him. And as he fell down, he did not get back into his consciousness, but Dairy, frantically, that is in a crazy manner, he calls out to Mr. Lamb, calls his name again and again, and tells him, I had promised you that I would be back here, but you did not believe that I would be. There were people who did not believe that I would come back here. His own mother, she would not allow him to come back. But ultimately, he came back over there. But ultimately, what happened? He saw him fallen there on the ground. So he wanted to help him out and said, Mr. Lamb, I am there, though you have fallen down, but I am there. But there is no response from him. And in the last page, which is displayed to you, he says, I am back, Lamb. No, it's a typical name, as people would tease him. Maybe with that tease, he would wake up. I did, मैं जरूर आया. I did come back. There he begins to weep for that. Now here, why he weeps is important. It is because he does not just simply see somebody die over there. For another reason, from whom he had got a kind of hope of life, a positive approach to life which he had learned from somebody. One who gave him a different orientation of life, one who helped him learn and understand that life is, of course, meant for something else. So, for such a man, he came over there, and when he sees him, gone from the world. So his scope of learning different things, his scope of having a friend in life, that was all gone. Well, the things that he had learned from Mr. Lamb is a positive approach. Approach towards our tragedy should be completely changed. We believe that whatever the tragedies do take place, in our life, so they would their sorrow or their misery would overpower us so much that we would never get out of such problems. But in fact, it's not so. We are able to win over the difficult times, and then there are some other people come in our lives, or whom we just come across, and they change the complete orientation of ours towards life. This is what actually happens over here. Then I think maybe here at the bottom, maybe one or two questions. We'll just check them out. So reading with insight, what is that draws Derry towards Mr. Lamb in spite of himself? What is that draws Derry towards Lamb? Draws Derry towards Lamb. Okay. लैम्प की तरफ कैसे क्या वो खींचा हुआ चला जाता है in spite of himself. So if we just want to give an answer to this question, so this means the common link between them, not only handicapped men but also their loneliness. Here Lamb himself lives lonely, but there Derry in his life there is only loneliness, and there is also something called their views match later on, and they become friends. Out of that, he goes over to him. In which section of the play does Mr. Lamb display signs of loneliness and disappointment? What are the ways in which Mr. Lamb tries to overcome these feelings? So there is one part, there is one section here in this text where we come to know he remains unto himself. There is nobody in his house, or even the curtains remain. They are not even covered up curtains. That is what he sees over there. So we understand here he would have to do the things on his own, and he engages therefore himself in making certain things. For example, plucking crab apples and then making candies out of them, then sitting here and there in the garden, then calling the weed as a weed garden, uh, listening to the humming of the bees, all those things does he talk about in that. He passes his time. Whoever comes there, he just has a word with them. The actual pain or inconvenience caused by a physical impairment is often less than the sense of alienation. Alienation मतलब किसी को अजनबी मानना, that's alienation felt by the person with disability. So it's not that those people who suffer from some kind of handicappedness, they find a lot of tragedy there in their lives. Problem comes with the other people who treat them handicapped. Therefore, even when you see somebody is finding, maybe land, or maybe blind, and has to cross the road, unless he or she needs your help, you should not go and extend. Because by doing so, they get an impression as if now they have become weak and they would have to depend on themselves. So this is actually the feeling of alienation, which is even more disturbing. So what is the kind of behavior that the person expects from you? A normal behavior, a common behavior, no different behavior, a simple behavior, do they expect? So will Derry get back to his old seclusion loneliness, or will Mr. Lamb's brief association, brief is short, association is friendship, affect a change in the kind of life he will live in future? Of course, I also believe there might come some change in him. He would not take his burnt face as a kind of tragedy for him now onwards, because he learned something. There is something about life. There is something about positivity. There is something that he can feel something great about it. So I don't believe that he will get back to the same kind of situation. There would be better thing in life. So I think this chapter is done for you, and I'm just getting out from there, and will take your attendance. And I would like to just take your attendance quickly. I'm taking attendance, noting just down that your attendance. Three, 8, 10, 11, 12.
Present, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. No need of response. I'm just noting down from here. Then 14, 17, 19,
सर
20,
13 प्रेजेंट है.
28. 13, where is 13? I did not see. Yeah, that is present. I'm sorry.
कोई बात नहीं सर.
ओके. बट छोटे छोटे गलतियां बड़े बड़े शहरों में तो होती रहती है ना. 28, then 30,
यस सर.
32, 33, 34, 39, 41, 43.
Sir,
Then
32.
yes, 32. I
Roll number 20.
32, 33 I mentioned over here.
24.
And
Sir, 19.
yes, 19 also I have written down. You don't have
24.
to.
Sir, 20.
अगर तुम में से कोई छूट भी जाए ना तो सोचना सर ने जानबूझ के छोड़ा है बस.
Okay, you all can leave now.